Apple's had a pretty consistent track record with iPhones they keep around for previous years because, as we know, Apple doesn't like to try very hard with designing new models or new designs to make more affordable prices. They basically just say, buy last year's or buy last year's iPhone to get a better deal overall. But could Apple finally break away from their regular tradition this year? Because once September rolls around, we may be looking at the most complex, stuffed iPhone lineup of all time. Let's begin. So brace yourselves for this list of iPhones that may be on sale by Apple for September, because if history holds true, Apple typically gets rid of their higher end options like the XS or XS Max only stuck around for 1 year, the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max only stuck around for 1 year, but the XR, even though we thought that may stick around longer because the iPhone 11 is too good a deal, pretty consistently just got those price drops every year until it was gone because they didn't want to sell it for the same price as the SE. But the iPhone 11 also moved down this price ladder, as did the iPhone 12, and probably will the iPhone 13, which means in the event that Apple does not change their tradition, the iPhone lineup of 2022 will start with the SE3 for $429, then for a little bit more you can get the 12 mini for $529, iPhone 12 for $629, then maybe Apple continues to discount the 13 and 13 mini, which perhaps means the iPhone 13 mini is selling for $629, and then the iPhone 13 is selling for $729, and those are all the old iPhones that currently exist, and then we'll have 4 new iPhones to talk about in September, which shall be the iPhone 14, which will probably start at $829, the iPhone 14 Max, which will probably start at $929, and then hopefully 14 Pro still starts at $999, and 14 Pro Max will start at $1,099. So that means 9 iPhones in total, and as you guys can probably already tell, there's a bit of overlap here, particularly if Apple keeps around the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 13 mini. Those are basically going to be close to the exact same price, which honestly, I don't think people who are a fan of the iPhone mini will care very much. It's like, hey, if you just want a 6.1 inch OLED iPhone and you don't need a slightly smaller notch or better battery life or cinematic mode and that kind of stuff, iPhone 12 will be a decent option. But if you're in the market for a smaller iPhone and you want that good battery life and the best camera, then the 13 mini suddenly becomes more affordable. But Apple, I don't think in the past has been usually very comfortable with having multiple iPhones in the lineup, at least older models that are being discounted over time, with having the exact same price as each other. So that's why I wanted to speculate a bit in today's video, because I'm curious of, will Apple want to have such a complex iPhone lineup, right? Is Steve Jobs rolling over in his grave like, oh my god, you're supposed to just have the flow chart, 4 boxes, you have the Pro option, you have the cheap option. It's not supposed to be so complicated. We don't need 9 iPhones to be sold at the same time. Whereas on the other hand of the argument, you have the case of, well, more people are buying iPhones now probably than ever, and Apple wants to ensure that if someone walks into an Apple store or a Best Buy or whatever, and they're in the market for an iPhone, there is something waiting for them in every single category of that price ladder. And that way, if your budget is $400, they have exactly something new, fresh, and ready for you. And if your budget is $600, they have something for that. And if your budget is $800, they have something for that. And perhaps just having a diverse range of products helps them move more inventory, because sometimes options are good, but as most of us Apple sheep will agree, sometimes too many options can be overbearing and somewhat overwhelming for people. So now let's talk about, if Apple's not comfortable with selling 9 iPhones at the same time, what is going to break from tradition with this lineup? Because if you guys can remember, at this same time last year, I was like, yeah, I don't think they're going to keep the iPhone 12 and 12 mini around. I thought that the 13 and 13 mini were far too similar, so Apple was probably just going to discontinue every version of the iPhone 12, and if you wanted something cheaper than a 13 mini, you were going to have to buy an iPhone 11 or that kind of thing. But lo and behold, Apple went against what I expected, and they actually discounted the 12 and 12 mini, and they kept them on the site, and you can still buy them new to this day. But if Apple doesn't want to go the 9 iPhone route, what in the lineup makes sense to kill off? I mean, it's fair to assume that because the OLED panels in iPhone 12s and 13s are probably the most expensive component that goes into that phone, maybe Apple's not comfortable Apple discounting the 12 and 12 mini another $100 because, you know, the 12 mini will be coming only $100 away from the price of the SE3. And, you know, Tim Cook at the last Apple event said that the main reason they make the SE is for people who care about having smaller, more portable options. And maybe they're worried the 12 mini would sell a little bit too well if it was priced at $529 and it would start to cannibalize the rest of the lineup. But even that argument doesn't make a ton of sense in my book, because every study and every research group we've seen has said that the 12 mini was a big flop and not enough people were buying it. And wouldn't Apple be happy if you were spending more money on your iPhone instead of less? And the 12 mini absolutely caters to the demographic of people that like the smaller iPhone design, and it's even smaller than the SE3, so profit margins is probably the best argument to get rid of the 12 mini. But in that case, does Apple keep around the iPhone 11? Because that's already at a really, really great starting price, I think, for what you get. The great battery life, the night mode performance, the ultra-wide camera, all of that starting at $499, honestly, I think is the main reason people should not be buying SE3s. I do not think the 5G is worth it. I don't think the A15 chip is going to result in that big a difference. So maybe because the iPhone 11 has been sold for so long, Apple might want to kill that off and have the 6.1-inch iPhone 12 take its place in line. And there will only be one mini iPhone in the whole lineup, and that'll be the 13 mini, which will now start at around $629, which is a pretty dang good deal, especially considering how few options there are out there for people who want small premium smartphones. You know, there was a lot of people that were speculating the iPhone XR would not be discontinued before because Apple probably can make that thing for so dang cheap. They thought the profit margins would be better, and then they did kill that off and replace it with the iPhone 11. So if that aspect of Apple's tradition stays true, the iPhone 11 may officially be discontinued later in the year. But can Apple get the price point of the OLED iPhones cheap enough so that they can discount the iPhone 12 once again? It's kind of an up in the air question, and I would love to hear your guys' theories on it. But if you want my official prediction, we just put aside speculation and theory for a moment and say, here's what I think they're gonna do. I actually anticipate the iPhone 12 mini will stick around because Apple statistically knows not that many people are actually buying into the mini smartphone realm. And that was probably the biggest issue the 12 mini had going for it, is that it was a good phone. You know, the battery life wasn't the best, but the camera was awesome. I love the MagSafe support, and you got Face ID, and you got a great display that fit in your hand really, really well. And Apple wants everything in the lineup to move a decent amount of inventory, but not too much. And my prediction is that Apple thinks the iPhone 12 6.1-inch version would sell too well and probably start cannibalizing a lot of the lineup, especially if the rumors are true and the 6.1-inch iPhone 14 is still going to be rocking that same old notch. Not going to be too different from the iPhone 13 6.1-inch anyway, which means they don't need 4 iPhones on the website to all be OLED 6.1-inch devices. They probably are going to think that's too overkill and they need to simplify the sizing a little bit. So I think the 6.1-inch iPhone 12 and the 6.1-inch iPhone 11 are going to be killed off in September. The iPhone 12 mini will be discounted to $529, which is a really great value, only $100 more than the SE3. But then if you want to spend $100 more, all you're going to get is the 13 mini, which is better than the 12 mini for sure, but it's not going to quite grab you as much as the iPhone 13 will at $729. Rocking a 6.1-inch OLED display. So I think this might actually simplify the pricing ladder a little bit, because all the iPhones under $600 are going to be fairly small and pretty compact, and then people will, I think, pretty quickly understand, okay, if you're willing to spend more than $600, you can get a 6.1-inch iPhone. You got 3 different choices to choose from. The iPhone 13, 14, and 14 Pro all will be in that pretty much same screen size category, and that will be kind of your premium to high-end flagships of the lineup. And if you're on a budget, you'll have a cheap option that still has OLED, still has 5G, and still will probably have night mode and a decent camera setup, with the exception of the SE3. But keep in mind, I have made all kinds of crazy predictions that didn't end up happening, so just the fact that I said that in today's video, the likelihood of it happening has decreased. But that means at least one of you in the comment section today is probably going to end up being right. So let me know your theories of what the 2022 iPhone lineup is going to look like this September once the iPhone 14 launches. Let me know. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you all in the next one.